Yo, what's going on, guys? And Happy New Year, which will be in a few hours at time of recording. I went out today for a few beers to meet my friends, but I'm not going out on New Year's Eve. I'm being a good boy, staying at home. I'm relaxing. I've had dinner. I'm hanging out with my cat. I've had a hot bath. And I've seen the news breaking from multiple sources. Fabrizio Romano and Ben Jacobs. Clearly, there's been a briefing. Chelsea manager Enzo Maresca was not sick post-Bournemouth, which I must say, I had a feeling that was the case. And he's considering his options, and the drama intensifies at Chelsea Football Club, and it's percolating in the background. There's so much stuff to try and dig into in terms of what he's thinking, why he's upset, what would be the alternatives for Chelsea, what he was expecting. Is it perhaps the sporting directors and ownership being too analytical, wanting too much information from him in terms of briefings? Or is it a squad development building issue, which seems like it could be a problem, which is what I spoke about earlier today? And what's happening? It's pretty crazy. It's Chelsea Football Club. This won't be a long piece of content. It's just a reaction to this news, so sort of instantaneous thoughts. Because many of you who have followed my content for a while will know, I suppose, detailed version of my thoughts on Maresca and the situation at Chelsea. Yeah, it's pretty dramatic. Of course, we are in a dismal run of form. 1 win in 7 Premier League games for the Club World Cup champions in December. And I suppose, 7? How many games? 7 Premier League games. That must predate December, right? Either way, it's a really poor run of form, and this news is being leaked out before the Man City game. A Man City game, of course, where we will be without Moises Caicedo. A Man City game, and of course, where Maresca has only so recently been linked to the Man City job to succeed Pep Guardiola in the summer. So much to get into, my friends, but thank you for joining me as always. It's been a great 2025. Thank you for your continued support, for liking and subscribing to this video. Of course, this is available on all good podcast platforms, so thank you for following me on those and giving me those sweet 5-star reviews. Yeah, man, so it's pretty heavy. First off the bat, I'm just going to react to what So Fabrizio Romano did a video on this on YouTube and pretty much said, like, Maresca's not happy. You know, he didn't want to give too much away and say he's unhappy, he's leaving, but he wanted to clearly title the video on it and make it a talking point. And since, TalkSport, Ben Jacobs said the following: Enzo Maresca was not sick post-Bournemouth. Of course, Willy Caballero came out and did the post-match media, saying that he had a temperature and he was feeling a bit poorly, a bit sick or whatever. I thought that was a bit peculiar. I had a gut instinct that wasn't the case. I've pretty much said as much as in a couple of videos. That has since come to pass in terms of being confirmed. He was not sick post-Bournemouth. He chose not to attend the post-match press conference because he's in the middle. He is in the middle of making a decision as he considers the options at the club. So, firstly, what does that even mean? He's contracted for another, 3.5 years? What, is he just considering walking away and not getting a 3-year payout? What's happening here? What kind of briefing is this? What does it mean? We can delve into that in a moment. It goes on to say, Maresca continues to be frustrated by the aspects of the Chelsea project affecting his independence to make decisions, and strategic elements don't always align with how he wants to manage the team. Now, Simon Johnson of The Athletic will tell you that he knows exactly, and he's always known exactly how the Chelsea project is run, how this is precisely what he signed up for. Rightly or wrongly, we all have our own opinions on that, but he knew what he was signing up for when he got the huge job of managing Chelsea Football Club after only 1 full season in management, and that was in the English second division. So there is he knew what he was signing up for, apparently. Whether he feels the goalpost should have moved because he had a good first season, I don't know. Maybe that's the case. You can make up your own mind whether you think he's right, if that is the case, whether he's right to feel so. Apparently, this led to his post-Everton comments, which had been brewing for some time. So not just around Everton. For some time, he'd obviously felt this and decided after the win against Everton, this was the appropriate moment for him to air his grievances publicly in the media. He left it kind of ambiguous and, of course, refused to follow up on it for a few press conferences afterwards. Of course, he has said publicly that he loves Chelsea as a club and its fan base, very political, of course, doing the right thing there, and relishes the pressure of delivering results. But Ben Jacobs' understanding is he is struggling to work within certain conditions. Right. Certain conditions. Well, let's play the speculation game. Probably the sporting directors and ownership group coming in for a debriefing in the dressing room after every game. Could be one. Squad planning, squad development, available players to him, transfer market stuff, perhaps another. There's definitely a lot of talented players in the Chelsea squad, but, you know, something I've echoed a lot, and many other Chelsea fans, and indeed pundits, commentators, people and broadcasters, people in football have spoken about their opinions, how the Chelsea squad has got a lot of talent, but is missing certain key individual elements, let's say. And, you know, what one could assume that's the situation here. I think probably it's less about squad development because players are coming and going all the time at Chelsea, and he could probably pick and choose the odd player that he feels is appropriate and capable of delivering certain performances in his system and his idea. I wonder if it's not so much the squad, and I wonder if it's more... I know we all know he wanted a centre-back in the summer. That's like one thing. But I do wonder if it's more like micromanagement, backseat driving from the sporting hierarchy. That's kind of what I would feel would be the issue here. But he's not happy, and this is rather dramatic. He feigned illness because he didn't want to speak to the media. But why? Like, it's kind of... Why? Like, how does that help you? What, because you're afraid to do you're going to do another, this is the worst 48 hours of my Chelsea career line? Is that why he deliberately sent Willy Caballero out as opposed to himself? Because he feared he couldn't stop himself from doing another line like that? Or was he literally... And also, like... If we win against Bournemouth, yeah, if Liam Delap scores that header that he put just over... If Liam Delap scores that header in that moment, in that micro moment in a football match, scores the goal and say just Chelsea beat Bournemouth 3-2, does that mean Enzo Maresca makes the decision to talk to the media? Because we won. Do you know what I mean? It's such like a fleeting moment, like a momentary thing. Well, if we beat Bournemouth, we win 3-2, Liam Delap scores that header, does Enzo Maresca then make the decision that actually I will talk to the media? But because we don't score that header, because, you know, Trev Chalobah does a glancing header that ends up assisting Kluivert to make it 2-2, because that happened, he decides not to speak to the media because he's unhappy with his Chelsea work. It's very intriguing. Or is it perhaps because he knew that win was going to put him under the microscope, or loss was going to put him under the microscope, should I say, and or just not winning, should I say, a draw. So therefore he decided, well, they're just going to give me grief because I haven't won. I can't be asked for this, as it were. Excuse the French. It's very intriguing. I mean, without knowing the full details of what kind of conditions he's being put under, which he doesn't like at all, it's very, very difficult to judge. Do you know what I mean? Because if it's truly unmanageable... Like, Pochettino agreed to walk in the end, you know? Poch is a sort of big name. The thing is, Maresca is not a big name. We've sort of platformed him and made him a, you know, like an up-and-coming good name. Like, so who's going to come in and work in conditions that perhaps Maresca is totally uncomfortable with? There's only really one. And that is Liam Rosenior of Strasbourg, their boy. Because... You know, we know that Bedadig Barley, the big boy of Clear Lake, he really likes Roberto De Zerbi. But what a strong character De Zerbi is. He's not going to come in and necessarily play ball in the way that they hope, he would if Maresca's not going to. It's so hard to speculate. It's really, really tricky, and it's very dramatic. I mean, the fact is, look, when do we play Man City? It's such a big game as well. I mean, we're the way we're playing, and without Caicedo, obviously there's a very strong chance we lose that game. I mean, of course, it wouldn't surprise you if we don't, because Chelsea turn up to big games. It's in 4 days' time away at the Etihad. I'm assuming Maresca will still be manager. But you don't know. This club is frigging crazy. It's mental. I just wanted to react to this particular news. When we have something more concrete, of course, I'll react here to Football Therapy. Not the most positive news in terms of going into New Year, but I do wish you a happy New Year. And thank you for your continued support over 2025. It's going to be a great 2026. So thank you for liking and subscribing on YouTube. And thank you for following and 5-starring on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. And I hope to see you back here very soon.